This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. Streak number 672 in a row. It's me. It's CGB. You may have noticed a different headband. You're all going to want to comment on the headband, I know, but we are going to be playing a pretty sweet deck that was played in the Mythic Championship, the Zendikar Rising Championship. I'm sorry, it's hard to get all the names right. This one should be easy. The Zendikar Rising Championship, the eSports level of competitive Magic, and it contains 4 copies of a Mythic that I hadn't crafted yet. So I don't see that every day, so I'm excited to play it for you. Let me comment quickly on the headband. I've fallen a little bit in love with the headband life for just keeping all this hair out of my face. Now, normally I can gel it up, but eventually there gets to be so much hair, I can't, gel won't fix it anymore. We solved it in the past with a beanie. I like the headband better because I get to continue to let the world know that I have beautiful, luscious hair. Anyway, sorry. The haters out there are hating already. I can hear you. Let's dive into the deck. Let's look. So this deck was played by Kazu Negre. Now, what I mainly know about Kazu is Kazu comes up with cool decks. I've seen the name many times. I don't know much else about the person, but they've been on the Pro Tour and the competitive scene for a while. And I always look at their deck lists and think, that's pretty cool. That's kind of innovative. And you can find these deck lists on magic.gg/decklists. I know. Epic, but not everybody knows. And this version of the deck is Genesis Ultimatum, Terror of the Peaks, Beanstalk Giant, yawn, boring. What's this? 4 copies of KIORA, BESTS, the Sea God. I actually had to craft this card. I've only played 1 or 2 of them before. 4 copies? If you think that the meta isn't going particularly wide, particularly fast, and an 8/8 Hexproof Kraken just cannot be killed, this is the card for you. And notice that Kazu's playing this instead of Ugin the Spirit Dragon in this deck, which is kind of epic. And because it's a 7-drop, and because Genesis Ultimatum is a 7-drop, there are 4 copies of Migration Path. Also, this is another just massive hit if you hit Terror of the Peaks or control a Terror of the Peaks to deal 8 damage to somebody's face. This isn't a Yorion deck, but I could make it into one. Just give me some lands, give me some Omens of the Sea, give me Yorion, and I'll blink this sucker. I'll do it. Blinking KIORA, BESTS, the Sea God, and Terror of the Peaks sounds like my kind of nonsense. But as it is, this version, out of respect to the great Kazu Negre, who had the guts to run something with a little bit of personal spice in the Zendikar Rising Championship, I will not make it a Yorion pile today. It will not be one of the 12 days of Yorion. The only changes I've made to the deck are adding 3 copies of Glimpse of Freedom to the main deck, and that is a rogue thing. Just in best of 1 right now, I'm trying to put at least 3 cards that punish the opponent for milling me into my decks. And I'm also playing a lot of Yorion, so that helps too. So it's actually been a long time since I got milled out by rogues, and I really enjoy using escape cards to make them miserable. So things are going well for me against rogues. I will tell you, rogues does not like KIORA, BESTS, the Sea God when it hits the battlefield. They tend to not have any way to deal with the Kraken. Their creatures getting tapped is pretty brutal. It's a good time. They also don't like 4 copies of Brazen Borrower, which actually make it into the deck along with Fire Prophecy over Bone Crusher Giant, which might be weird for most of you. And my take on it is this. In best of 3 in this specific field that the Zendikar Rising Championship is, more rogues are expected than mono red aggro. This deck could draw every interactive piece in it, all 4 Fires Prophecies. It still might lose to mono red because they just play their stuff, they're hasty, and they get in there, and they Embercleave the thing you don't kill. So I don't think that this is exactly meant to be a best of 1 deck, but the meta does seem slower. I'm seeing a lot more Yorion. Wonder why. I'm seeing a lot more Adventure Ramp, Obosh Ramp, things like that. I'm seeing a lot of mono green food. I'm seeing a lot of decks that are a little bit slower, and rogues, more controlling rogues too. So If the mono red and the Gruul percentages are down, I think this deck can shine and get you there. I think your matchups with Gruul and mono red are going to be a beating. So I might take a beating today, but I'm going to do it in the spirit of making giant Krakens. So hopefully you'll give me a pass, because this deck might show up on the ladder a bit. And it is legitimately pretty epic and fun. So on that note, there's still a sideboard attached so that you guys who want to play best of 3 certainly can. And we're going to dive in just a second, because I have a plug to make. I have to be a good sponsored player. eSports Gold has been a longtime sponsor of the channel. They haven't done a lot in terms of Magic on their site, but they're a big believer in me, and I appreciate them. And they started getting into some Magic content. So I want to share it with you because I get this question all the time. Is the MTG Arena Mastery Pass worth it? Here's when you should buy it. This article goes into depth on where you get paid, how you get paid back, and whether or not and when and how and where you should buy the Mastery Pass. I probably get asked this question every single time I stream, so now I'm grateful to have a place to point you, and I agree fully with the article. So check it out. There's going to be a link right at the top of the description. If you've ever wondered if you should be buying the Mastery Pass, well, eSports Gold has the answer. Thank you to eSports Gold for sponsoring the channel. Now let's dive in. And let the Genesis Ultimatum Kraken nonsense begin. Alright, I think I know what I need to do. I need to play it like a control deck. Ramp control. I ramp when I'm not under enough pressure, and other than that, I try to control things until I get to play the big over-the-top game-winning blah blah blah. Luminarch Aspirant. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put away Glimpse of Freedom because this means it's like I got to cast it for free. And it pays off as we find the lands we needed. So do we hold up Jawari? No, I think we ramp here. Opponent shows some Hedron love. Must be a fan. Lurrus to the battlefield. Okay. Migration Path. Ooh. We can play this tapped and use the Beanstalk Giant and then definitely get to 7, but we can also path our way there. So let's use the path. Alright, we've got a blue or a red in hand, so make sure we get another green. And then I don't think it matters. Alright, Lurrus, let's go. Let's rumble. Lurrus's natural predator, for decks just built around exploiting Lurrus with cards like Selfless Savior, is ramp. They just go too big, too strong. I guess we'll thin the deck. Let's get a good ultimatum, everybody. Hooah! Heave. Okay, Terror is here. Is it possible we want to hold the Terror back? I don't think so. And we have a Fire Prophecy for the Lurrus, but the opponent does have the Doggo, so that's not very useful. So we'll hold up the Jawari Disruption instead. Maybe on end step we'll go for the Fire Prophecy. That won't take out the Terror. Do we want to counter it? Do we want to counter it anyway? No. Better to use the Prophecy, get rid of the dog, and then we can use the Beanstalk Giant on the Lurrus, if we decide that's what's important. Yep, 4 or greater, dude. Yep. Yep. So, we don't want them to sacrifice the dog, then get the dog back. They might still have a land. Probably not from the way that they're playing it, but better safe than sorry. No blocks. Terror too important. We don't get to cycle the land by going after the savior, but I still think this is the way to be. If we go after anything else, they can let it resolve and keep their savior, which is not cool for us. All right, this is a lot of overkill on Aluris, but we do what we must. Roasted. All right, so we still have Warrior Disruption open as well as Glimpse, and we'll send in 5. Start working on that life total. There's the Daxos. A little bit of life never hurt no one. That card can be very annoying. Another Prophecy. Let's see what we draw. Brazen Borrower. Giant. Bang. The face. Alright, we can do another 3 by flashing in the Borrower. But I can't get my Beanstalk Giant through. So we might as well hold it up. How do you get out of this? Small white creatures weren't built for such a battle. Turn, they go land, shatter the sky. That's a start. Alseid of Life's Bounty. So before that comes down, let's shoot down the Aspirant. Skyclave. That Skyclave is probably thrilled to have something to target. Alright, can we find lethal? First things first. Take that. Cycle this, draw. Disruption. Make a 3/3. Shoot that. They still have this one blocker. Can we find the solution? It's like a puzzle. Is it castable? Puzzle solved. Well, we'll kill the Daxos. V5 fo fum, smash smash. Tycoon Bosch. Let's fight. I'm ready. This hand is pretty sweet. A little bit of interaction, a little bit of card draw, a little bit of ramp, a little bit of terror. But none of the Genesis Ultimatums or KIORA Best the Sea Gods that clog up the early turns of the game. Rogues? Do we have Glimpse of Freedom versus Rogues? Let's go. Let's do this. Mill me. Mill me good. double glimpse of freedom. Not that it should be necessary, but just funny. So we can make a 2-mana play this turn, and then Beanstalk Giant next turn, and also have a 2-mana play available. Or we can just go for the Beanstalk Giant, which I think is better, because we have Terror, so we might slam Terror next turn. See how the rogue player handles it. Counter my Giant. Spiteful. Alright, we've got a... I'm gonna counter everything gamer on our hands. Petty Theft your Scavager. Let's see if they have an untapped land to play it again through the disruption. Even if they don't, the borrower can jump out in front of it and try to trade for it. It's a tapped land. Oh, you lofty denialed me. But will I disrupt you? Out of there. Nice, 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 nice. This is the part of the game where having that in your hand starts to feel nice and good. Are you ready for the terror? They're ready. They are ready for that. No creature, though. Let's see what we draw with the glimpse. Before we do anything else, it might be a tapped land. Soaring Thought Thief. So, is bouncing the Thought Thief a priority? I guess so. Slow him down. Just keep him nice and slow. They're not a companion rogue, so they might have Zareth. They have Rankle. Ah, that's brutal. So much for our Genesis Ultimatum glory. Each player discards a card. Yep. Well, we also get to draw one. It's interesting. And the land cast it. It must be my birthday. Another lofty denial? Maybe. Maybe? Nope. Alright. Cool. We'll put the borrower onto the field. Try to block this Rankle. 2 Fire Prophecies and a Migration Path. Ugh. Could have been better. Could have been better. But this is the part of the game where we have to start playing this like a control deck. Since we didn't win the game casting our marquee spell. Alright, they're coming in for me. They must have another Rankle, I think. Or they're slow rolling a removal spell to the final possible moment. Happy to make this trade. Since Brazen Borrowers can block Thought Thieves, I think I just want to play the land and say go, and not try to Fire Prophecy this thing. We're also at a stage where Migration Path is probably better used as a cycle. They're thinking. So on their upkeep, I want to glimpse in case they're about to draw into the story to make the graveyard smaller, but I don't want to fight that fight on my turn. Okay, so they go for a borrower, sure. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now remember Zareth, we need to exile our big permanents. And then what? guess the ultimatum for show. All right, 2 more mills. Another glimpse. Let's bring out a borrower. We're going to try to make the opponent fight our creatures. Okay. Sure. I think that's fine. So that goes up to 8. And your last card is a Drown in the Loch. So in response, does this work? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many cards will be left? 1, 2. Okay, I think this works. Or no, because there's 3 glimpse, it won't work. Never mind. So it still counters the borrower. I was trying to get it. Yeah, I thought there were 2 glimpse. There are 3. Okay. Well, we've got them on nothing with 3 rogues on the battlefield. That could be worse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we'll play this, which is going to be very hard to get past. We'll fire Prophecy away the Thought Thief because it boosts everything out and creates mill. And we'll cycle the Migration Path. And we'll see what they do now. Will we play the Mammoth? This deck needs a lot of land. But I have a Migration Path I can play for land. This is 8/8 win. I don't think they can kill it, but they might be able to ninjutsu in, and we have Prophecy for that. So yeah, I think we can play this. I think this game will end without needing the Mammoth. What could they draw? I get Scavenger? That'll get tapped. It's okay. So what they need to draw is a flash creature to block this. But we have the Prophecy. We're ready for it. Let's cycle you. And glimpse you. Just clean up the graveyard. And end the turn. This sequence should be lethal. And this is why you got to see Glimpse in action here against Rogues. It's the reason I put it in the main deck for best of 1. Alright, let's send out a borrower. Can't be a bad idea to try. Disruption. What are we taking? I'll take your Scavenger. Looks like fun. We don't want to take one of their flash cards because they could use Brazen Borrower to bounce a Thieves Guild Enforcer, then replay it to block the 8/8, even though we have the answer anyway. Yeah, on the play we'll try this out against Yorion, a slower deck. That should be the matchup we want. Opponent with a mulligan. We have no companions, so they'll assume that we're aggro. But we're not. We are the Rample-Bamps. We will ramp upon thee into the Genesis Ultimatum and hope that they don't have a counterspell. Let's take a draw. Triome. Sure. Let's get that on the field. Get ready to path. Double Ultimatum. Locked and loaded. If they're the Esper Doom deck that doesn't run counterspells, they just get wrecked. Counter that. Alright, blue and green. We're looking for an untapped land off the top. Doom foretold. Okay. What do we give up? KIORA BESTS the Sea God? We could give up the migration path, but if we don't draw land, yeah, I think it's KIORA BESTS the Sea God. That's gotta scare him. Boom. I wish we'd given up the path now, but that's how it goes. Free! KIORA BESTS the Sea God. Pew! Drop a bomb on him. Are you terrorized? I like it when they're scared. Doom foretold. Yes. Yes, of course. Do we give up the Terror of the Peaks or the KIORA? Tapping their stuff, I guess, isn't very important. We can give up the KIORA. Our opponent played Elspeth's Nightmare into Doom Foretold into Doom Foretold. We didn't care. Again, do it again, CGP. Oh no. No! They didn't stay to see it. Oh my goodness. What a massacre. This hand is interesting against Yorion. We should have time. We should be able to draw another land. Let's keep. I think I'll end up playing this on green, this on blue. I do not like pathway decisions on turn 1 though. So much can go wrong. Rogues? Rogue Yorion? Probably not. Esper control more likely. Dimir control possibly. Though they had to lead on a pathway, so did I. They've got the fancy pathways. The fancy gamer. Can we draw land? Kind of. Well, we have Beanstalk Giant next turn. Cling my glimpse. Rude. Very rude. We both hate rogues, though. It's respectable. That's gross. But, on the bright side, boing, they have to do it again. It's the second chapter that's the nasty one. So, I think this means that we're going to get to do some of our ramping things. Then they'll take Ultimatum or KIORA BESTS the Sea God, but I don't think they can take both. It returns. And land drop is hit. This matchup is a slugfest for sure. They keep on top. All right. We're having issues, but we're drawing a lot of very powerful cards, which our opponent's going to have to answer somehow, sometime. What do you think? Do we grab another green, or do we grab the third blue? Which is harder to get? I'm going to grab the... Well, the Genesis Ultimatum's going to get taken. Let's grab the green. Yeah? Oh, man. If they're looking at 3 counter spells in their hand, everything's fine. If they're not, there are alarm bells. Things are not fine. But, yeah, like I said, they'll take the ultimatum, so let's grab the double green. Alright, they played the tome. No fear. No fear in them. That's fine, because we're not going to draw land this game. Terror resolves. Heartless Act resolves. That's okay. They didn't get to draw a card with their tome. Sometimes you just have to do these things. Scry to the bottom, then shuffle with passage. Nothing. Wow. Full house. Full house acquired. Magic is messed up. I bring out the borrower. The brazen one. Land. Let's attack. Opponent could have a Sublime Epiphany. But bouncing the borrower isn't very good for them. We could just start slamming KIORA BESTS the Sea Gods. They know about 2 of them. I actually expect them to have Extinction Event, so I don't like playing the Beanstalk Giant. Counterspell. Land. Yorian purchase. Go. Nice. Attack. KIORA BESTS the Sea God. Well, counterspell. Holding on to the tome. They greedy. The greedy people. The being greedy. I think I said the counterspell. I mean, they're holding on to their tome. They want to flicker it. I probably would too. When I say greedy, it doesn't always mean they're bad or anything like that. I'm a very greedy player. I cast this potentially game-ending Genesis Ultimatum. Draw. Nice. Oh, that is not a game-ending Genesis Ultimatum, is it? No, it is not. Weak. Submit. Go Mammoth. Alright. I'll attack you with the Brazen Borrower. Opponent snaps off the block. Deal the damage first. Fire Prophecy to Yorian. And I'll put away the other Fire Prophecy. Ooh, a land. Save that for next turn. Pump the Mammoth, if it survives. Or we get to draw a card with Glimpse. I think drawing a card is better. We'll not do it until their end step in case they want to cling it. It's Ugin, the Spirit Dragon. That's especially bad because now they can minus and hit the KIORA BESTS the Sea God, whereas usually it's 7/7. Terror of the Peaks. Oh my gosh, do we have Terror Giant? Let's make sure there's a basic land in the deck. Pretty sure there is. It's closer than you want it to be. Boom! Come on! One time. One time. You dead. Out of nowhere. Oh my goodness. Wow, this hand is special. There's no 2-drop. Our opponent has no companion. Ramp into terror. If it's not good, it's not good. If it's not good, the deck's not good. Oh no, they're aggro. Only people with 1-drops do that. Told ya. Hello is only for people with 1-drops. Scoos. Interesting. Ramp up. Will they be able to handle the terror? That's what we're wondering now. Don't miss a land drop. Okay. Just making sure here. Mammoth. Great. So we could bounce the Mammoth and try to put off Great Henge. Does that matter? If they have a Great Henge and I have a Terror, I bounce something and I play Borrower. Well, I can't do both without another blue. We really we don't want Terror this turn, we want it the next turn, right? And we do have other things we can do this turn, like play Glimpse of Freedom. Let's start with the draw then. Okay. Well, they have to play a land to pump the Mammoth before they can henge, so we can bounce with the trigger on the stack. Yeah, they still need to do another to play the henge, so they need to sacrifice the passage, which they do. And now we do it. Well, that reduced a massive Mammoth hit, and they are actually Gruul on a hell of a curve. This is going to be tough. We have to play the Terror, we have to not die to Embercleave, and then we see what happens. But they might not have another red, considering the way that they've led with Forests here. Roar! Got my glimpse. Brush fire. Another Fabled Passage, perhaps? No! Oh, we're so dead. This game is over. Got destroyed. Alright, so 9, 7, 10, 11, 12. So we have to block. I guess we can block here and take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and try to draw Genesis Ultimatum. I don't think our deck can compete with any fast creature deck. Can't compete with Gruul, you know? It's just not going to work. Can't compete with Mono Red. It's definitely designed to go over the top of the mid-range decks that are supposed to keep these in check, but in best of one, that doesn't happen. So I think that any matchup like this, we're destined to lose. That said, if this were a Genesis Ultimatum, and we might draw one, we do not draw one. We're at 3, so we could make a big blocker. That won't be good enough, so we're done. We're on the play. Our opponent has Gigantha. I think we can keep it because, well, on the play. Migration Path, Ultimatum, the Disruption, and the Glimpse. Like, yeah, Glimpse is in the wrong matchup, but it's just a quick cycle. Hopefully we don't have to counter anything on turn 2 with the Disruption, so we can cast it easily. What you got? Temple. Huh? Alright. I don't know what's happening, and that's probably a good thing. Most brews are a little bit on the slower side, which means Genesis Ultimatum goes way over the top. Way over the top. Black, red so far. I will draw a card. or Migration Path. We only need one, so we're going to cycle one of those in a second. I'll go ahead and make red, say go. This is probably a real pain for Rakdos, who thinks they can kill everything that moves. Roxa. We could disrupt it, but that's like discarding the disruption. Instead, I'm just going to cycle one of the paths. We hit Terror of the Peaks. I think that's a card we could discard. We could also discard the disruption and hope to draw another land. I think we discard the disruption. We're going to play Migration Path this turn and then either Terror, Ultimatum, or KIORA next turn. So there really isn't time for it. Secure another blue, then we'll go get a green and a red. Alright, any untapped land we top deck should be an ultimatum. So what aren't they playing that, because of Gigantha? Ox, Rankle, those are some of the better cards. Liliana, like a lot of the 4s and 5s. Acquisitions Expert, okay. You can have one of these. Ooh, Brazen Borrower. You. Alright. Let's have a Terror of the Peaks. At least we have something else to discard. Opponent snaps off the Heartless Act, of course. We're up to 6 cards in the graveyard, so the Glimpse can draw a card. Yeah, look at them go. Look at the Acquisitions Experts doing stuff. Call me cynical. Alright. Let's go Fertile Footsteps. Grab another green. And then we'll Glimpse of Freedom when the opponent tries to make us discard. Voice. Come on, Voice. Wake up! It's time for Magic the Gathering. Most people don't have to wake up their voice to play Magic. Look at that! That's brutal. Discard the deck. Oh! Oh! Okay then. Well, seeing those get discarded has to be a bit of a tilt. Let's go. Well, at least we hit another ultimatum. I'm just going to put out the passage and hold all the cycling stuff. Is it Croxa time? It's Croxa time. The next Genesis ultimatum needs to be better than the last one. God, the sequence with which we drew the KIORA Best the Sea Gods and the ultimatums was so bad. And we still might win, so hold on to your butts. Let's cycle this. See what we draw. Another giant. Alright, the Triomes can go. Or at least one of them can. Down to 12. Okay, Brazen Borrower is a good draw in case we find literally nothing here. Although we don't have enough blue. Ooh, am I going to get punished for not having blue? I am. I actually am. This is absurd. This is legendary right here. Alright. I should have put this onto the battlefield. Opponent's giving me the crap, and they should. They really should. Alright. I guess we Fire Prophecy one of the experts. We take 1, 2, 3, 4. We are definitely magicking wrong. Nothing but incorrect magic to see here. I mean, I just should have put more lands onto the battlefield, clearly. Can they finish it? Do they have what it takes? You discard more cards! I demand it! God, I hate people who think discard is good. But if you like it, you know, keep liking it. Alright, we're doing something. Yes! Target, yeah. And yeah. 2 life. I don't have the blue frickin' mana. I needed 2 blue here and the game was over. Alright, I guess we'll just bounce this and try not to die. Also 1 land short. Should have put another land onto the battlefield. Oh my goodness. Bone Crush da face. Sure. If they attack, I'll just discard a Borrower and eat the Kroxa. Game. I don't deserve that one. That was a misplay festival. 3 Fire Prophecies and a Brazen Borrower. If you're on the draw and you have this much removal, I guess that's where we want to be. Especially against no companion, often aggro. Oh, they forgot to say hello. This is mono red. We play mono red, mono red, mono red. Look at them go. What a pillar of strength and fortitude. Just everything you ever want in Magic. Playing cards so fast, nobody even knows they got played. One Fervent Champion is worth 4 damage. They have to put a mana into the Kargan Intimidator to make that worth 4 damage. Okay. Wow. Giga Brains. I guess they had something they wanted to cycle really badly. Alright. If I miss a land drop against mono red, I'm going to be a tilt factory. Robber of the Rich, of course. Of course. Let's see if they steal a land from me. Yep, they stole the land. Die. Alright, what's too slow? I need these, but I only need 1 of them. I think I'll put this away. Nice. Our deck doesn't gain life either, so it's go all the way over the top or die trying. Alright, they are in top deck mode. Drawing a Terror of the Peaks would be really nice. I wonder if I put away Genesis Ultimatum here. It would suck to get up to 7 and have nothing to do with it, but we're still several turns from that. We could also just let it be. We could also put away Glimpse, and it's like we didn't have to pay mana to Glimpse, but then if we don't draw or use the Brazen Borrower here, we don't gain anything. This is really tough, to be honest. Maybe the answer is to do nothing. Or, you know what? We'll just put the Glimpse away. It's not meant for this battle. Pretty good draw. We're lucky our opponent doesn't have a Castle Embereth, or they'd be putting a ton of pressure on us. Alright, we'll grab another green. Play this as a red. We're going to be watching the top of our library now, everybody. It's all up to the deck. Ugh. Oh man. Oh man, that makes me angry. Replay it. No. Come on. That last card is a shock. It has to be. It has to be. So, yeah, I have to block here or I'm dead to the shock because the Fireblade Charger would deal a damage to face anyway. Okay. Okay. So they top deck lethal. Yep. Yep. They top deck lethal on top of that. Oh my goodness, I'm full of hate. Pretty good little hand up against rogues. We'll see if we can find Glimpse of Freedom early in the game when it can make a big difference. It might be cycling. Sometimes they play Lurrus and it's something else. Lurrus actually has a number of decks it can go in. It's just that Rogues is by far the most popular right now. Murkwater Pathway. Murk. Alright, here we go. Brazen Borrowers can help fight Soaring Thought Thieves and the such. We could also fire Prophecy the thing. It's one of the better cards to bounce though because it's 2 mana and everything else that they play is 1. Go home. The Jwari Disruption. Ooh, we can counter their... Thought Thief, guys. Denied. Let's see if that gets them to play stuff on their main phase, or do I go for this migration path? They can't really counter it well. But we could deny them another Soaring Thought Thief type thing. I don't think they have a Thieves Guild Enforcer unless they just drew it. Let's just go for it. Let's be strong. Be strong. Do not back down. All right. Green, blue. So many lands and not under pressure. Yeah, that's what we're going for. I buy Lurrus. I hold up Drown in the Lock. Or Heartless Act, of course. So, do we just throw down Terror? If the opponent Heartless Acts it, I can counter it. That's insane. Raw! What you got? Who knew? Opponent. This is not right, okay, guys? Literally Dragon 24 scooped to a dragon. And we are back for the post-game wrap. Headband's coming off. I think I tied it too tight. Cut off blood circulation in my brain because I didn't play particularly great today. There are a lot of decisions I would take back. But the deck is powerful and it can carry you. And I think that it's interesting because your Genesis Ultimatum can just kill the opponent, but that doesn't mean it's always right to play it because it can also hit a bunch of low impact spells. And KIORA BESTS the Sea God can just kill your opponent, but it isn't always right to just play that because if they have an Ugin or some way to exile the token or a sweeper, then you didn't do very much with your turn. So there's actually a lot of consideration. It's not as simple as I hit 7 mana, I play Genesis Ultimatum, let's see what happens. What's strange about the deck is you have to know when to play it as a control deck and when to play it as a ramp deck. And I don't think you can successfully control the aggro decks, Mono Red and Gruul Adventures. I think that those are just terrible matchups where you do have to gamble, try to curve out, and hit an epic Genesis Ultimatum for the win, or hope they can't kill you through the first 8/8 Kraken. And you just have to tap out and take chances. However, against rogues, against the other Genesis Ultimatum decks, against control decks, against mono green food, I think you play like a control deck where you try to counter a spell here, gain a little bit of card advantage there, remove some of the early threats, ramp when you don't have much else to do, put off casting your ultimatums and KIORA Best the Sea God until you think you have a pretty good spot for it, and then you go for it. That's what I learned playing the deck today. Hopefully you can use that in your games and have some success. And once again, I would like to thank eSports Gold for sponsoring the channel for well over a year now. And I would like you to check out their first Magic content piece. Is the MTG Arena Mastery Pass worth it? So you never have to ask me again, unless you want to troll me in the comments. Of course, any comment is a good comment. So if you want to comment, is the Mastery Pass worth it? You're welcome to. Yeah, now there is an answer to that question. So, thank you for watching this video in our march to 100,000 subscribers. And don't worry, the 12 days of Yorion will continue very soon. Those happy golden days of Yorion will continue. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.